about farmer payments. Here we are talking about the 2021-2022 marketing season, which ended on the 31st of March 2023. If you look at that table there, what was delivered to GMB was 48.9 billion in US dollars, in Zim dollars, which was fully paid, or which is now fully paid. And again, against that, we are paying an incentive of $100 per ton, which came out to 51.3 million. And I'm happy to report that that has been fully paid as we talk now. So we don't have anything.
Let's agree on one thing. When you say it's fully paid, when was it fully paid?
The Zim dollar was fully paid last year, but unfortunately the US dollar was a little bit delayed. I think the last payment went through beginning of April. That's when we paid the last.
For last season?
For last season, yes.
Okay.
So the last season is closed. We have fully paid all the Zim dollars and the US. Then we go on to page 3. This is now in respect of what we are receiving now for the season beginning 1 April 2023, where to date we have received 3.3 metric tons of grain, with the bulk of it being maize 2.8, with a total value of 513 million. And that has been fully paid as we talk, the 513 million. We last paid the last payments were done yesterday. Then against that, this year, we are paying $200 US per ton for maize and traditional grains. And to date, we have accumulated 713,000. And this we are still waiting to get the money from Treasury, which they have promised that they would give us by the end of this week. So as far as Zim dollars are concerned, we are fully paid. What is now left is the US dollar component. We have also requested a float of... Yes?
When you say you fully pay Zim dollar, how do you pay it? Zim dollar, how do you pay it?
Sorry, Honorable Chair, in terms of?
In terms of value.
We'll be paying a Zim dollar.
In terms of preserving value for Zim dollar, what do you do? Let's say you owe me...
Is that, as announced, the price for May, or as it was announced by government, the price of maize in traditional grains is 335. Then of that, 200 is paid in hard currency. Then 135 is paid at interbank rate. But the interbank applies to the date of delivery. It doesn't apply to the date of payment, unfortunately. It applies.
Date of delivery?
Yes, date of delivery. In other words, we vary it every week after the auction.
Date of payment?
No, not date of payment. It's date of delivery. Yeah. So, like I was saying, that we have requested for a float of 1 billion and 1.5 million. This is with an effort to pay the farmers on time so that there is restoration of value. Then we go to the next page where we are talking about transporter payments. As at the 2nd of April 2023, we were owing transporters 3.5 billion. And then we received 3.2 billion on the 20th of April 2023 for transporter payments. And out of this, 1 billion went to pay transporters who transported from Vudza inputs and those who were collecting from collection points. Then the balance of 2.2 went to pay transporters who do depot-to-depot transfers in respect of social welfare, leaving a balance of 376 million, which we have since requested from Treasury, and they have promised that they will give us that money this week so that we are able then to clear the outstanding balance. Then what plans have we put in place in order to make sure that we have timeously paid farmers and transporters? Like I highlighted earlier on, our price for traditional grains and maize, which we are receiving currently, is 335, with 200 being paid in hard currency, 135 at interbank, which will then obviously change on a weekly basis. And the same goes on the selling price. We are selling at 368. In other words, there's a markup there. And of that 368, we have got 200 US, which is paid in hard currency, and 168 at interbank. These are sales to millers. Then the money we collect from the sale of grain is what then goes towards the payment of farmers. As you can see, we are selling at 200, and obviously that 200 goes then to pay the farmer in the 335. Then whatever shortfall comes is then funded by Treasury. Then this year again, given the marketing arrangements, we have got 4 categories of farmers here. We have got what we call the food crop contractors. These are the PHIs, the Stairwell, and then we have got Agro Yield, which is CBZ. Then we have got AFC Bank. These are expected to buy the produce from the contracted farmers. So the commitment to government is only applying to farmers who are supported under the Presidential Input Scheme and the self-financed farmers. Those are the ones who are supposed to sell to GMB. So literally what we are basically saying is the pressure which we used to have in the past is now less because we're just paying for the farmers who were supported under the Presidential Input Scheme and the self-financed farmers. We have, however, as well presented a budget to Treasury for what we're expecting, and I think the budget of what we're expecting is about 100 million US dollars and 100 billion, which we expect to pay for the input for the grain for this year. Then, as for the depot-to-depot transfers in respect of social welfare program, we are expecting this to end of May, which is end of this month, and then resume in January next year. So we don't expect much in terms of bill accumulation in respect of depot-to-depot transfers. Then, as for the transporters, we are currently carrying inputs, that's wheat inputs, for the Presidential Input Scheme, which we have got a budget of 1.5 billion, and to that, the pressure is less.
Transporters to survive. If you see the time which you take to pay them, when they are servicing their transport or buying tires, they use maybe US dollar. Also fuel, did you provide fuel to them or they buy fuel on their way?
What we do with those who are transporting inputs, when fuel is available, yes, we supply transported fuel, then we only stop over to that every time.
Oh, okay. So my worry is with transporters, I think in the near future maybe they will refuse to provide the services since they will not get any profit since we take them to pay.
On what Honorable Karimazonde said, since you are paying farmers a portion in US dollars and a portion in RTGS, and you're also selling a portion in US dollars and RTGS dollars, is it not going to be fair for you to pay transporters in the same manner? To say on their invoice a portion is paid in US dollars, a portion in local currency? What is the challenge here?
Nothing obviously, and admittedly, we delayed paying farmers, actually transporters who had carried inputs for the summer cropping. Because I remember these were carried in October, November, and we only paid or fully paid the beginning of April. Definitely the value would have been lost. So we have obviously made representations to Treasury to say if we can get maybe a portion in the US and then another portion in, so that at least there is preservation of value.
GMB government and suppliers of maize seed. Do you know the contents of the contract? In relation to, specifically in relation to transporting of maize?
Sorry, transporting of inputs or?
Of both inputs and maize.
Right, for inputs, this is administered by the Minister of Lands and Agriculture. Mm-hmm. They are the ones who do the contracts, they are the ones who ferry the inputs to our depots. Our responsibility comes in to carry from the depots to the what? That's for the inputs. So that one is administered by the Ministry.
No, your responsibility comes to fill the inputs
From the depot to what?
who pays that.
We are the ones who pay.
Why do you? That's what I'm saying. If you read the contract between the ministry and the suppliers,
I will not be very privy to their contracts, but all I know is they carry to our depot.
and you carry to distribution points,
Exactly.
and you pay for that.
And we pay for that.
Can you confirm under oath that you do?
Yeah, we do.
You pay.
Yeah, we pay. That's the one I was referring to say we paid 1 billion to transporters who carry the
So, in the event that the contract between the government and the suppliers of inputs states that they must ferry and deliver to distribution points, and they would have been paid in advance, why would you pay as GMB? And who are you paying?
I want to think that their contract, like I said, I'm not very privy, but I want to think their contract is to our depot. Why they will not be able to carry maybe to distribution points is because some of the roads, these are big tank trucks we're talking about.
But that's not your problem. You can't feel sorry for the supplier. If they are paid, they must deliver.
Honorable Chair, I might obviously need to check whether their contracts.
That's why I asked if you read the contract. Remember, I asked you if you read the contract between the ministry and the supplier.
No, unfortunately not.
But you're a party in this, right? As GMB. Aren't you a party?
We might not be party.
Okay, you are an interested party.
Yes, we are interested as far as carrying the inputs from the depots to the watches. Because we have been given instruction. We are then presuming that the delivery of the inputs from the supplier is up to the depot. So unfortunately, I don't read the contract to find whether they are being paid to send to the distribution points.
Let's say they are being paid, or they have been paid. What do you call this then?
Yeah, if they are paid, then obviously they will be double duty.
So what does that mean?
Honorable Chair, the presumption here was that their contract is to the depots. That's why we then instructed with the
So
Ministry.
you are a finance person, right? You're a finance director. If somebody's double dipping, what is it called? What term do you use when somebody's double dipping and they do it
Well,
knowingly?
they are obviously defrauding, but
I never said they are doing it. I said what's the term? Not that they are fraudsters. I'm just saying what's the term used. They'll be defrauding GMB. So next, okay, it's fine. We'll come back to that. Honorable.
we at the beginning of the flight attendant in the newspapers, where we invited those who are interested to be constructed ferry depot to depot transfers, and they do respond. Then we sign contracts with each one of them who they have responded. But with social welfare, what we are basically doing is carrying from one depot to the other. But to then ferry from the depot to the wards is now the responsibility of Minister of Public Service. We are not involved in that aspect.
amubhadhari amuconsider bank rate yemusi wamuri kubhadhara munoconsider bank rate yegore rapera yakamapedza kubhadhara last month munoconsider bank rate yegore rakapera hakusi kuda delay yenyu ndeyekushaya mari here kana kuti muda kutongotorerawo nechikafu chawamahara because kana izoti yegore rakapera kusvika nhasi usati wabhadhara wazondobhadhara nerate yegore rakapera zviriyo here
Concerned, that was fully paid last year. What was paid this year, these are US dollars we're talking about.
No, Mr. Buja, that's not the question. Neki shona hat, akona neki shona mambuzizi. Bati nini munotora zvirima zvevana. Musi wazvadhirivhwa wazvasowa GMB, ndipo munoti mari yakati. Kana mozomubhadhara even after 2 days or 3 days, munoshandisa rate yemusi wakaunza, not yemusi wamubhadhara. Ndizvero.
Yeah, that's correct, Honorable Chair.
Whether or not you are fully paid or you are partly paid, that's not the question.
Yeah, we consider the
date
date.
that you use, is it delivery date or the date of payment?
It's the delivery date.
Do you think it's fair?
It
If you
will.
were a farmer, in your opinion, let's say you were just a farmer. I know you don't know GMB, I know you don't make those final decisions, right? But do you think it's fair?
Honorable Chair, our expectation is that
I say the question is it fair to the farmer? Whether or not you're paying after 2 days or what, but is it fair to use the date of delivery instead of the date of payment when money hits the farmer's account? You know, prices are shooting up everything, but knows about it. You can't hide. Things are changing.
yeah, the idea obviously would be to pay at the rate on the date of payment. But I wanted to point out though that given that on the official market, if you notice on the official rate, maybe it jumps 10 points or so.
Where do you live?
Sorry?
Where do you live? Not your area. You live in Zimbabwe, right?
Yeah, I do.
You are very resident here in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I
You
do.
use the same shops with everybody else.
Yeah.
Do you use the official rate?
Yeah, I guess so.
I just want to know what they would pay farmers in other areas like tobacco. They are paying their people in time. In Kenya, they are paying their people in time. But GMB, people get payment after a lot of complaining. Why?
Is that within a week farmers would have been paid. And I don't think we have really faced that much of a problem in as far as maize is concerned. Where we want to admit where we do face problems is on wheat deliveries. I guess it's because of the high pricing of the wheat and whatever. But as far as maize is concerned, I think we are always on time. It has got to go through the consolidated reserve fund, but this is just for accountability. In other words, we transfer it to treasury and then the next day is probably transferred back to us. It's just to
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.